Even though Stardom has a significant number of people on the roster, they regularly have foreigners come and go. Sometimes that's a really great thing, and sometimes it's a very, very annoying thing. I feel like the opinion on foreigners in Stardom is really split. Either you really enjoy them being there, or you wish none would ever come back ever again. I personally think that the foreigners are more often an annoyance than an improvement to the product, but when someone comes along that's really special, it makes up for it. Every now and then someone comes along and really surprises me. In this video, I will be talking about some of the foreigners over the last couple of years that really impressed me or really annoyed me. I'll start with the ones that left a bad impression on me first, that way we can end the video on a more positive note. Let's start off with the one that probably made me more mad than any other foreigner. Mandy Leon. I think this might be the one that most will agree with me on. I don't know anything about her outside of Stardom, but from what I saw, she is absolutely terrible in the ring. Her being a bad wrestler alone wouldn't make me hate her this much. Her being atrocious mixed with the fact that she got a push that was completely undeserved. She made Io Shirai tap out. Not only did she beat the best female wrestler in the world, but she also made her submit. This was a huge travesty for wrestling. Everything about this still ticks me off to this day. She is not good at wrestling at all. If she is, then she didn't show it at Stardom. This was another one that really made me question how far Stardom is willing to sink just for the good relations with other companies. Everything she showed in Stardom was very subpar. She was not good at anything, and only brought down every single match she was a part of. Now, I'm not hating on the woman herself. From what I could tell from things I've heard, she's very passionate about wrestling. That's great, but passion doesn't always translate to talent. Her run in Stardom left a pretty sour taste in my mouth, and if she ever does come back, I hope she has improved a lot before doing so. This one I debated on which one to put her on, because depending on which run in Stardom we're talking about, depends how I feel about her. Her first run in Stardom was garbage. She was terrible and beat people who were mountains more talented than she was. The only saving grace of her first run was that she got her butt handed to her by Io in their title match. With that said, her second run in Stardom has redeemed her a little bit in my eyes. She still isn't a great wrestler, but she has improved a lot, and she didn't act nearly as dumb this time around. The problem with Kelly Klein is that she is supposed to be this huge monster who is intimidating, but she just comes off as incredibly awkward. I felt she is definitely improving, and I hope the best for her career. Wow, did this wrestler really annoy me. I didn't enjoy a second that she was on each video. She acted so stupid that it was actually hard to watch. Some will say that this is the whole point, but just because something is supposed to be annoying doesn't mean it's automatically enjoyable to watch now. Nothing against her, but I sincerely hope she never comes back again. There were plenty of other foreigners that I don't like, but not enough to really give their own spots in this video. People like Rachel Ellering, who I have lost respect for only recently, and people like B.A. Priestley, who botch too much. I don't have much to say about them because I do like them more than I hate them. There are people who I would rather not come back, but if they did, it really wouldn't bother me. So let's stop complaining and give some love to the people who deserve some recognition, in my opinion. Man, did this wrestler take a bit to win me over. But once she did, I became a big fan. In the first run I saw her in, she was obviously a heel, very cocky and unfriendly. I acknowledged her talent, but hated her character. So while I enjoyed her matches, a part of me didn't want to see her again. Then she came back recently during the 5-Star Grand Prix, and I was pleasantly surprised. She seemed much more like a face this time around. Much more enjoyable to watch from an entertainment aspect this time around. Her skills were still there. She's a very talented wrestler. You can tell she knows her stuff when it comes to the technical side of pro wrestling. I really hope she becomes a frequent visitor of Stardom like Viper, because I love watching her wrestle. I don't know too much about Shannon, honestly. I've only seen her a couple times in Stardom, but she was absolute fire. She even held the high-speed belt, only for a little while, but still. From what I could tell, she was kind of the perfect foreigner. She wore an outfit that was based off of the clothes Goku wore in Dragon Ball Z. She was really talented, and she was pleasant to watch and listen to. Even though I have only seen her wrestle in Stardom a couple times, she has really impressed me. Hopefully she'll come back one day. This one was a pleasant surprise for me. I had never heard of her prior to her Stardom run, so she didn't have any expectations to live up to. Even if she did, I believe she would have lived up to them anyway. She was really talented, but I wasn't too fond of her character. It was fine, but the whole intimidating thing doesn't really work for me for about 90% of women wrestlers. So even with the handicap of me not being a huge fan of her gimmick, she still managed to have an amazing run in Stardom to me. Plus, she earned bonus points for having her first match in Stardom being against Azumi and not being upset about it. Dust came as a representative of Rise, and I believe she did a good enough job alone to really make people wonder about her promotion. Everyone should know Viper, as she has been around Stardom for years. In the beginning, when I started watching, I wasn't too big of a fan of hers. She seemed too slow, and at the time, I was really enjoying the fast-paced nature of Stardom. She was able to win me over because for how big she is able to wrestle much better than most of the big women in wrestling. I like her much more now that she is aligned with Queen's Quest, as she almost seems like a big sister to all of these young girls. Viper is always welcome there to me, and I love watching her wrestle with the Stardom women. I debated on whether I should put her on this list because while she was in Stardom, I believe she was living in Japan. Since she was there on a visa, I am including her in the foreigner classification. Chris Wolf was about as much a part of Stardom as any non-foreigner. She really brought a unique and entertaining personality to this promotion. Hopefully one day she can come back because, to me, she was a pretty important part of Stardom in Odo Tai. She was small enough to wrestle the younger girls and rookies, and quick enough to wrestle anyone else. You could always guarantee that she would put on an entertaining match while there. While there are more wrestlers I hated and more I liked, I felt like I should only list the ones that I liked the most and the least. Whether you like foreigners being in Stardom or not, they definitely do add something more to the product. Every now and then we get a great gem that really shows what they are made of, and Stardom is better off for it. Let me know who your favorite and least favorite foreigners in Stardom was. Well, that's the end of the video.